Hey there, people. Guess who? Once again, you got it. This is Greg, aka Crazy G, with NECR New England Concert Reviews. And today we have someone who is from a band that is iconic, legendary, and truly artistic. He is Robby Takac, bassist for the band the Goo Goo Dolls. Hey there. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm here.
What's going on, man? Great to hear you again. We did an interview, I think, I don't know, about a year or two ago, maybe. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here in Denver. I'm playing at Fiddler's Green here tonight, and tours maybe 4 dates in. Been great so far.
Very cool. The Goo Goo Dolls have come out with a new EP this past May called You Should Be Happy. What do you want to tell us about this EP first? And is there any particular reason as to why an EP and not an album?
Well, I guess it's multifold. Quite honestly, I mean, why an EP instead of an album? One, we just got off of a tour last year for a full-length album called Boxes, which came out, like I said, about a year and some change ago. So we didn't have a whole bunch of time between when we were on tour and when it was time to go out on another tour. Quite honestly, so we had a few songs and we pulled a couple things out of the vault, did a remix, and just really wanted to have something new. So we had some new songs to play, for folks, who are coming out to the tour this year. So, and the other side of the coin is, it sort of feels like this day and age, obviously, as a music listener, I love albums, and, it's not like we're going to stop releasing albums, but it really does feel like when you put an album out these days, things come and go very, very quickly. So we talked a lot about, putting out 4 or 5 songs at a time rather than putting out 12 at a time, because you got something to put out 8 months later instead of a year and a half later when you put out the other half of the record. So I think people are still figuring out how to release music, these days. It's definitely a different climate than it was when we were younger. So, we're just trying new stuff, and people seem to really like this EP.
Yeah, it really is a pretty cool EP. And, this EP was recorded at East West Studios in LA and produced by Drew Pearson, One Republic, and Katy Perry, who first collaborated with the band on their previous release, Boxes. What was it like working with Drew again, and is the band going to work with him again at some point in the future, possibly?
Yeah, I think John actually started another song with him when he was out in LA a few weeks ago, right before the tour started. Yeah, Drew's like a lot of fun to work with, man. He's got a much different vibe than a lot of the producers we've worked with. He just, he'll kind of try anything, and that's fun to us. And we used to go in and make records, like we'd go in and try to record 14 songs in like a month, and we'd be in mixing, overdubbing, and writing, and like changing stuff, and trying to work on 14 ideas at a time. Since we've been working with Drew, we sort of work on a song or 2 at a time, and another guy, Greg Wattenberg, that we worked with a bunch over the past couple records as well, we use this process with, and it just seems like it's a much fresher approach when we go in to kind of work on an idea and keep your head in that idea and finish that idea, and you can come back to it, but having the time to focus on something, sort of see it through to fruition, and then move on to the next thing. Obviously a luxury a lot of bands don't have, but it's really become like a pretty crucial part of our creative process now, I think.
It makes a lot of sense from, as you stated, from an artistic perspective. The first track, Tattered Edge, You Should Be Happy, is a great sounding song, man. Very tight, and sounds like the Goo Goo Dolls are just as strong as ever. I'm interested to know, how did this song come to light?
Well, I would probably tell you a different story than John. John wrote the song. But from my perspective, what happened was the original idea of this EP was to sort of put together just sort of like a low-key kind of EP, more in the vein sort of what the rest of the record, of the rest of the EP is. A little acoustic edged, a little bit, vibey. And that was sort of the idea. And the last song John came in with was this one. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. But something really felt cool about opening this particular group of songs with that to me. Like, John could probably get a little bit more into what the song is about, and that sort of stuff. I think it's a little self-evident, if you listen to the lyrics, that he's sort of describing our situation situation, whatever it is. I can't even describe to you what it is here, that we're all living through in this country, in the division, et cetera, et cetera. But, I think just as a vibe, I think it's just a really cool song at this point in our career.
Yeah, it is. It's a very cool song. And it's funny you mentioned the artistic aspect of this, because the artistic scope of the Goo Goo Dolls really shines with this EP. Not that the band hasn't shined in the past either, but Use Me really says that more than most of the songs. I don't know why either, but it really does. What went into that track, and how did you guys approach it from the start?
Well, and once again, John and Drew sort of were working on an idea, and they sent that idea around with some drum machines and stuff on it, and it really didn't sound all that much different, quite honestly, but when the band finally got together, sort of recreated all this stuff, that were done by the machines, that's when I think the song really kind of started to sort of feel, that Goo Goo Doll vibe, if you know what I mean, like putting that sort of like spin of a rock band onto a song like that, I think is it's a cool amalgamation of things, cool combination of things. And, then we went in and, like I said, just finished it up with the rest of the batch of songs. A lot of it, Drew and John had together.
Also, the Goo Goo Dolls hit the road this summer for their Long Way Home tour with special guest Philip Phillips. The tour kicked off, the 4 days ago at the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain, California, and it will run through mid-September, culminating at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, California on September 13th, 2017. What do you want to tell us about this tour, and specifically the show here in Boston, Mass, at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion on Tuesday, August 15th?
We were out last summer, so we wanted to do some things differently this time. We know that there's going to be a lot of bands out. When you do a double summer, it's like, so we wanted to change some stuff up. So we've added some old stuff that we haven't done in a really long time. We've added some stuff in the new EP, which is pretty cool. We've broken out a couple of older kind of hits that have somehow fallen out of the set over the past decade or so, that we just said we should really be playing these songs. So, and we've got the Dirty Dozen, which is which are the songs that we know we're not leaving the building without playing, or someone's boyfriend's gonna slap us around on the way out to the bus. Personally, man, I hate when I go to a concert and the artists that I've loved my entire for their entire career, doesn't touch on parts of it, and so we try to play all the hits, man, and still making an interesting show for everybody.
Yeah, cool. No, and that's that makes perfect sense too, as far as going out to see a show and seeing the history of the band and hearing the history from their beginning, basically. You want to hear those favorites. I know I personally do as well.
Yeah, we have stuff from our first couple of records, which it just wouldn't seem right to play right now, but we certainly try to go back as far as we can. And there's even some songs that we sort of crafted a little bit to sort of work with what we do now, crazy when you play for so long. Like, it always freaks me out when I see the Who, and I see the Who playing songs that they played when they were in the 60s. It's like every bit of the emotion and the energy that they played it to back then. Like, to us, in the 30 years from when we sort of we're learning how to play to now, things have changed so drastically. It feels weird playing those old songs, and we really got to kind of recraft them for what we do. But it always amazes me, when you go back and try to kind of recreate. There was a time where we were trying at one point, maybe 15 years ago, to record some stuff from our first couple albums. And as we were trying to record it, we were just like, man, we're just not this band anymore. We can't do this as well. Strangely enough, we're better players, but we can't do this particular thing as well anymore. And so I love touching on the old stuff, but it's definitely a gentle and dainty walk we have to do through our past, to make it into our present.
The Goo Goo Dolls have sustained a magnificent career some can only dream about. So many milestones, so many great songs. What would you, and listen, I know you guys done a lot, and you've, like you just said, 30 years. Is there any one particular thing that you could say is one of your biggest highlights being a part of this band?
Yeah, I just found a video the other day on YouTube that somebody shot this show that we did in Buffalo when we were on tour with No Doubt and Bush. This was in, I don't even know what year it would have been, 96, 95 maybe, and Name had just broke, and we were playing at this place called Memorial Auditorium in which is knocked down now. But it's where I went when I was a kid to see Kiss and Cheap Trick and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and, you know, like all these bands when I was a kid, Stones, you know, and I remember playing there. I remember standing on the stage and looking around, and I remember that it was literally like an out-of-body experience, you know, and I think that was like the first moment that I was like, wow, this like happened. It happened. Here I am, you know, and so that always sticks out in my mind. And I remember my grandmother was still alive, and I remember my grandmother was sitting off to the side. We got her seats kind of close enough so she could see it, and I remember seeing her sitting there. And I don't know, just something about that whole day, like, and that whole moment, like, it's one of those things that kind of really sticks out in my mind, you know, as a, I don't know, just as a milestone in my life or something.
No, and that, you know what, that's a great memory, and that you have every right to want that or have that as, I mean, you had family there, you had your grandmother there,
yeah,
you know. Yeah, it was obviously an awesome time, and I would probably say the same thing if I was in your shoes. You yourself are a remarkable artist. You are a founding member of the Goo Goo Dolls. What has it been like working with John for all these years? How do you mesh with him when it comes to putting it all together artistically?
I usually come up with some ideas, and I'll have 4 or 5 little sketches of kind of what I think might be a song, and I'll kind of play those for him, and I can just tell immediately, you know, like if it's something I should pursue or not, you know, and so through that process, and I don't write a whole bunch, you know, I'll write maybe 4 or 5 songs, you know, per record cycle, you know, which I choose a couple from, but yeah, you know, I mean, I just come up with some ideas, you know, sometimes it's just me playing a lot of instruments horribly, you know, sometimes, you know, I got a couple of friends that I hang around with in my studio, I'll put a demo together with them, with computer drums and that kind of stuff, and like I said, I can tell pretty much right away which ones are going to end up coming to fruition.
You know, it's all about putting the stuff out there and working together as a team, producing a tight, solid product. Let's talk about the fans for a brief second here, because we are over time a little bit, and I just got 2 more quick questions if you're okay with that.
Yeah, of course, man.
The millions of fans the Goo Goo Dolls have amassed through the history of the band is quite impressive. They've stuck by you quite a bit, and what would you like to say to all those diehard fans that have, you know, stuck with the band through all these years?
Thank you, 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 thank you. That's it. Thank you. Don't know, and thank you. Yeah, no, man, I mean, without that, none of this happens. You know, there's plenty of guys writing great songs, amazing songs every day, you know, and they're struggling to get, you know, a gig, and so I never let it escape me, you know, how lucky we are, and those fans and those people who feel a part of this with us, this is, you know, this is why we're still able to do this all these years later, and hopefully, you know, for years to come, you know.
I've always been a fan. I love your work, and, you know, how can I deny some of your hits? You know what I'm saying? I just can't. They're great songs, man, and anybody who says different is out of their mind. So.
And that comes from a dude from Worcester.
That's right, man. That's right. You got that right. But listen, Robby, we're over the mark, and I just have one more question for you. Other than what we covered, is there anything else you'd like to tell us? And are there any other special projects going on, or any future plans for another EP and or full-length album?
Well, yeah, you know, it's what I call rinse and repeat, man. You know, we're gonna finish this all up and rinse all the tour off of us, and end up with another record together and do it all over again. You know, that's the plan at this point. So, yeah, you know, full speed ahead.
Outstanding, man. Very glad to hear it. And at this time, I just want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, bassist Robby Takac from the Goo Goo Dolls. I wish you the best. I hope the best for this EP. Don't forget, they have a show August 15th at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion in Boston, Tuesday, August 15th. Be there or be square, people. And again, Robby, thank you. I wish you the best. Good luck with everything. Keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we'll talk again real soon, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, thanks again, man.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
See ya. Ladies and gentlemen, that was bassist Robby Takac from the well-known, legendary band, the Goo Goo Dolls. Don't forget, check them out Tuesday, August 15th, Boston at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion. As always, it is time for me to go. This is Greg, aka Crazy G, for NECR New England Concert Reviews. And until next time, I'm out of here. Peace. Later.